Alright, so we're back again working on this old 1948 REO truck. So looking at it here, if you haven't seen our last video, where we left off is that we got the back axle unlocked, we got the transmission unlocked, and right now the transmission is open. There's the actual stick and top. We're going to put that back together today. Right now, all our problem is our engine is completely locked up. It has no movement whatsoever, and that's what we're fighting right now. We think it's because of our valves, which are, as you can see, very rusted shut, and we think that's what's holding it up, but we can't obviously know for sure. That's what we think it is. As you can see, yeah, still completely locked up solid. Fortunately, we did find the crank for it, and so we can actually hook that up. Still though, even with the crank, we have absolutely zero movement. So that's where we're starting from. Hopefully in this video, we're going to be working on getting this engine completely unlocked up. All right, so right now our gear shifter is just a lot of these rods are just not wanting to move very well. And so we're just working them back and forth. We're getting some PB blaster, just some, good old lubrication in there. They're still a little bit rusty, but they're starting to move, as you can see. So I'm just working them back and forth and just getting them to move. All right, well, we got all the things moving now and working like they should. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can set her back in, not permanently now, because we still have to put some sort of gasket around here, but just to see if we can get the transmission to shift a little bit now. All right, so we went ahead and set this back on here. Second time's a charm, hopefully. I messed around with some of those gears, which are pretty sticky, and I think that we should be able to actually move through the gears now once we get a couple bolts on here to hold it down. So that's what we're going to go for here. All right, so our main project for this video is going to be getting this engine to turn over. I think that one of the things we are going to want to do, just to help us to be able to access the engine a little bit better, is going to be pulling off this radiator here. It doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult. It's a couple bolts on the bottom and a bolt up here. Other than that, we just have a couple of hoses holding it on. So I think that we can pretty easily do that, and that's going to be our plan. But with that, we should be free now. And yep, sure enough, there comes off the radiator. So we now have that off. All right, and so with that, now we got the radiator off. We did that just so that we can now get a lot better access and a look here at this engine, so that we can hopefully figure out why exactly we are stuck up and why it does not want to turn over. All right, we want to get these belts off here just to make sure that the rest of the stuff here is working. So we're going to go ahead and loosen up our alternator here. All right, so we got the belt off, and now the fan is freely spinning along with our alternator. Also does spin. The only thing that's not spinning is, if we get on, our engine. Absolutely, completely and totally locked up. So we're gonna have to take a bit of a look at that and see what's going on in there. All right, well, I'm not totally sure where to go exactly next on this engine as far as actually getting it unlocked, except for maybe getting a battery and trying to tap the starter. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next project, which is going to be pulling off the intake so that we can pull off this exhaust manifold, because it's cracked back there. Also, this might get us a little bit better of a look at some of the internals of the block there and see if maybe we can diagnose it better. All right, well, we didn't be able to get the exhaust off with just a bunch of the tailpipe there. It's got the whole carburetor on there. So we've decided that due to the extent of the damage to these valves, we're gonna have to do some more serious work with them. And to do that, we're gonna go ahead and pull the engine with the transmission with it. We're gonna pull it all out of the body here. And so that's what we're gonna be doing now. All right, so as you can see, we now have it most of the way out of there with the transmission just barely hanging a little bit behind the firewall. So I think that we have everything disconnected. We had quite a few wires and stuff that weren't fully disconnected, but I think that everything is disconnected now. So we're gonna go ahead and finish pulling it out of the engine bay, and we'll show you it then. All right, so we did successfully pull out the engine here, as you can see, and with the transmission on it. Engine bay is completely empty on this truck now. So as you can see, it's a little bit bigger, than I was actually kind of expecting once I was getting it out. The pistons are pretty average size, but just this whole case down here is just really bigger than I was expecting. But either way, now that we got it out, we can move it around, we can find a better spot for it, and we can actually start taking a look at deconstructing it and getting these valves out and taking care of that so that we can fix these valves and get the engine turning over again. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pressure wash the engine now that we got it off. We just wanna clean everything up so that we can access everything really nicely and we don't have to worry about having grease and gunk and fluid everywhere. All right, and so with that, we're going to go ahead and put an end to part 3 of fixing up the 1948 REO truck. And so we got quite a bit done in this video. We got it fully taken out of the truck. We got it all washed up, and now we got it set down over here so that we can do some more good work on it. Now, actually, at the filming of this outro here, we actually have already filmed all of part 4, and so I want to give you a little bit of a sneak peek into where we're going to be at with this engine by the end of part 4. If we come over here where we set it, there we are. As you can see, it's a lot more taken apart. We got a lot more done on this engine, so you definitely are not going to want to miss that part 4 of fixing up this REO truck. Still not sure how many parts this is going to take, but hopefully not too many more. But with that all being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd consider liking and subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. But I thank you again, and goodbye.